friends, in this module we are going to discuss arrays and lists. Data refers to value or sets of values. Collection of data is frequently organized into fields, records and files. The logical model of a particular organization of data is called a data structure. Earlier we have learned that high-level languages provide techniques by which programmers can easily interpret the algorithm as the data being manipulated were stored in certain data structures commonly used as primitive structures. The selection of a model or data structure depends on two factors. First, the efficiency of the structure to reflect the actual relationship of data in the real world. Second, the structure should be simple enough that the data can be processed easily whenever necessary. Basic data structures. There are different data structures used for various purposes. According to the applications and usage of stored data, some data structures are more useful. An array is appropriate for storing related data items and to manipulate them. A list is a collection of entries arranged sequentially. By restricting the access of list entries, the list can be either a stack or a queue. Another type called tree is a collection of entries having hierarchical organization. Each of these commonly used structures is discussed here in detail. Arrays. The simplest type of data structure is a one-dimensional array. It is a list of a finite number of data elements. A homogeneous array is a rectangular block of data with entries of same type. The particular entries are identified with their indices to denote the position. Two-dimensional homogeneous arrays consist of rows and columns in which positions are identified by pairs of indices where the first index represents the row and the second index represents the column. If the name given to an array is A, the elements of A are denoted as A11, A12, etc. AMN. Example, a linear array student to store the names of 5 students is given below. Student 1 Tom, student 2 Mary, student 3 Ellen, student 4 Asin, student 5 Arjun. Here, student of 1 denotes John, student 2 denotes Mary, etc. Linear arrays are otherwise known as one-dimensional arrays and each element in the array is referenced by one subscript. The number of elements stored in the array is called the length or the size of the array. A two-dimensional array is an array of one-dimensional arrays or a collection of similar data items and each item is referenced by two subscripts. For example, a rectangular array of numbers representing the monthly sales made by members of a sales force in which each row represents the monthly sales made by a particular member and each column representing the sales made by each member for a particular month. Hence, the entry in the first row and fifth column represents the sales made by the first salesperson in May. Each programming language has its own rules for declaring arrays. However, each declaration must provide the following information: the name of the array, the data type of the array and the index set or the size of the array. Some programming languages allocate memory space for arrays statically during compilation and some other allocate memory dynamically by reading the size of the array at runtime. A heterogeneous array is a block of data items of different types. The items are usually called components. An example is a heterogeneous array student with components student register number of type int, name of type character and marks of type float and grade type char. Homogeneous arrays. Suppose we want to store a sequence of 25 numbers that are divisible by 8, each of which requires one memory cell of storage space. Also, we want to manipulate the sequence or access it as the first number or the third number, etc. This can be achieved by storing the readings in a sequence of 25 memory cells with consecutive addresses. This technique is used by most translators of high-level programming languages to implement one-dimensional homogeneous array. When a statement like int number 25 is encountered by a translator, it will arrange 25 consecutive memory cells to be occupied. Hence, the statement number of 5 equal to 40 instructs the number 40 to be placed in the array at 5th position. Most of the high-level languages allow the array indices to be start at 0 rather than 1, which means that the number of 5 refers to the 6th position of the array if it is implemented using any high-level language. Assume our aim is to record the sales made by the sales executives of a particular company for a 10-day period. Here, the data should be arranged in a two-dimensional homogeneous array where each row indicates the sales made by a particular sales executive and the columns represent all the sales made during a particular day. In this case, the array is static and we can calculate the amount of memory needed for the entire array in advance and reserve a block of contiguous memory cells for that array. The starting address of the cell is used to find out the address of each entry in the array with the corresponding row and column value. The expression C into I minus 1 plus j minus 1 is called the address polynomial, where C is the number of entries in each row, I is the row and j is the column. This is added with the starting address of the entry in the ith row and jth column. Heterogeneous array. Sometimes the array needs to store the values of different types, such as the details of employees. It may consist of name of type char, age of type integer, skill rate of type real. If the number of memory cells required by each component is fixed, we can store the array in a block of contiguous cells. For the above specification, assume that we require 25 cells for name, 2 cells for age and 4 cells for skill rate, then we can reserve 31 contiguous cells where the first 2 will occupied by the name, next 2 by age and the last 4 by skill rate. With this arrangement, the different components can be accessed easily. If the first cell is addressed as X, employee.name would translate the first 25 cells, employee.age would translate 2 cells starting at X plus 25 and employee skill rate would translate the 4 memory cells starting at X plus 27. Another way to store a heterogeneous array in a block of contiguous memory cells is to store each component in a separate memory location and then link them together by means of pointer. This arrangement is used if the size of the array's component is dynamic. Operations on arrays. There are different operations possible on arrays. The most commonly used operations performed on arrays are listed below. Insertion, adding new elements to an array. Deletion, removing an item from an array. Traversal, processing each element in the array. Search, finding the location of a given item. Sorting, arranging elements in some specified order. Merging, combining two arrays into a single array. Reversing, reversing the order of elements in the array. List. List is one of the most popularly used data structures for computing and counting. The performance and flexibility of the list are higher than any other data structure. We can use an array or a list to store similar data in memory, but arrays have the limitation such as the need of contiguous memory locations and the difficulty in insertion and deletion of array elements. Linked list overcome all these difficulties. It can grow and shrink in size during its lifetime and there is no maximum size. Since the elements or nodes are stored at different memory locations, less chance for short of memory when required. In general, a list means a linear collection of data items. It may be a shopping list or a list of books. As mentioned above, if arrays are used for storing lists, it will be a contiguous list. Though it is convenient for storing static lists, deletion and insertion of names causes time-consuming shuffling of entries. In the worst case, the addition of entries arise the need to move the entire list to a new location to obtain an available block of cells that could accommodate the expanded list. But in the case of a linked list, individual entries are stored in different locations of memory rather than together in a large contiguous block. Even though the elements are scattered, they are bound together by explicit links between them. This linkage system gives the name linked list. To keep track of the beginning of a linked list, a pointer is used which saves the address of the first entry. Since this pointer points to the beginning or head of the list, it is called head pointer. To mark the end of a linked list, we use a null pointer or nil pointer, which is a special bit pattern placed in the pointer cell of the last entry to indicate that no further entries are there in the list. Hence, each element of linked list is called a node, each of which stores two items of information, an element of the list in the data part and a link in the pointer part or link part. The final linked list structure is represented by the diagram in which we show the scattered blocks of memory used for the list by individual rectangles. Each rectangle is labeled to indicate its composition. Each pointer is represented as an arrow from the pointer itself to the next node, traversing a list involved following the head pointer to find the first entry. From there, following the pointers stored with the entries to hop from one node to the next until the null pointer is reached. A linked list to store a string in memory is shown here. Each node of the list stores a single character. To obtain the actual string, we have to follow the link. Start equals 8. So, data of 8 equals H, the first character. Link of 8 equal to 4. So, data of 4 equal to E, the second character. Link of 4 equals 6. So, data of 6 equals L, which is the third character. Link of 6 equals 10. So, data of 10 equals L, fourth character. Link of 10 equals 3. So, data of 3 equal to O, which is the fifth character. Link of 3 equals 0, the null value, which indicates the end of list. The string is hello. There are several operations that can be performed on linked list. A linked list can be extended by adding new nodes at the beginning, in the middle or at the end. The nodes in the list can be deleted without affecting other nodes seriously. Further, the nodes can be stored in ascending or descending order. In C++, we can use a structure to denote a node containing a data part and a link part. A variable p is to be declared as pointer to a node. This pointer is used as pointer to the first node in the list. Many nodes can be added to the linked list, but p would continue to point the first node. When no nodes are added to the list, p will be null. To illustrate the advantages of linked list over a contiguous structure, the insertion and deletion operations can be considered. The task of deleting an entry results in a hole in contiguous allocation, which means that the entries following the deleted one should be moved forward to make the list contiguous. But in the case of a linked list, an entry can be deleted by changing a single pointer. The pointer pointing to the deleted node is modified so as to point to the node following the deleted node. Hence, during traversal, the deleted entry is passed by because it no longer is part of the chain. Deletion of a node from a linked list is given below. Inserting a new entry involves finding out an unused memory block large enough to hold the new entry and a pointer, and to fill the link part of the new entry with the address of the entry in the list that should follow the new entry. Then change the pointer of the entry that should precede the new entry so as to point to the new entry. Hence, when the list is traversed, the new entry will be in the proper place. The insertion of a new node into the linked list is given below. Circular linked list. The linked list discussed above is of linear nature and is called a linear linked list. The elements of such linked list are accessed by first setting a pointer to the first node in the list and then traversing the entire list using this pointer. A linear linked list is useful in several ways, but has the disadvantage that if a pointer p to a node is given in a linear list, it is not possible to reach any node that precedes the node to which p is pointing. This problem can be eliminated by making a small change. That is, the link or pointer of the last node can contain a pointer to the first node instead of a null. This arrangement of the list gives the name circular list. The structure of a circular linked list is given below. From any point in a circular list, it is possible to reach any other point in the list. A circular linked list does not have a first or last node. A circular linked list can be used to represent a stack and a queue. Doubly linked list. Previously mentioned lists contain nodes providing information about the next node in the list. It does not have any knowledge about where the previous node lies in memory. If we are at the 17th node in the list, then to reach at the 16th node, we need to traverse the list right from the first node. To make it easy, we can store in each node the address of the next node along with the address of the previous node. This arrangement is often referred to as doubly linked list and is shown below. Node of a doubly linked list. An example of a doubly linked list. A doubly linked list is implemented in C++ with a structure with one data part and two pointer parts, one for storing the address of the next node and the other for storing the address of the previous node. One of the greatest applications of linked list is to store polynomials. Polynomials like 8x raised to 4 plus 3x cube minus 6x square plus 15x minus 23 can be stored using a linked list. To do this, each node should consist of three elements such as coefficient, exponent and the link to the next node. Here it is assumed that exponent of each successive term is less than that of the previous term. Once a linked list is built to represent a polynomial, that list can be used to perform common polynomial operations like addition, subtraction and multiplication. For example, to perform addition of two polynomials contained in poly 1 and poly 2, these are traversed from start till the end of one of them is reached. During the traversal, these are compared on term by term basis. If the exponent of the two terms being compared are equal, then their coefficients are added and stored in the third polynomial poly 3. If the exponents of the two terms are not equal, then the term with the bigger exponent is added to the third polynomial. During the traversal, if the end of one of the list is reached, the remaining terms of the other polynomial whose end has not been reached yet are simply appended to the third polynomial. The result is displayed when the third polynomial poly 3 is displayed. And it is time to conclude the session. Let us have a quick look at what we have discussed in this session. This module provides an overview of the important data structures such as arrays and linked list. The various aspects of arrays and linked list are discussed in detail. The arrays can be classified as homogeneous and heterogeneous according to the type of the elements stored in the array. Further, according to the organization of the elements in the array, it can be referred to as one-dimensional, two-dimensional, multi-dimensional, etc. Another useful data structure discussed here is the linked list. Linked list is an important structure which contributes to the maximum utilization of the memory. Since there is no need for the contiguous block of memory cells to store the list, it reduces memory wastage and the list is maintained with the help of a pointer that connects the next node in the list. There are different varieties of the linked list such as circular and doubly linked list. In the circular linked list, the nodes are connected in circular manner. That is, the last node points to the first node in the list. The doubly linked list maintains two pointers, one to the next node and the other to the previous node. The module ends by referring to the applications of linked list. Now you can try to answer the following questions. Write a note on arrays. What are the different types of linked list? Differentiate between contiguous and non-contiguous memory. Differentiate between homogeneous and heterogeneous arrays. Briefly explain the procedure for implementing a circular linked list. What are applications of arrays? What are the applications of linked list? Here are some books for your reference. J. Glenn Brookshire, Computer Science, an Overview, 10th edition, Addison Wesley. Seymour Lipshot's Theory and Problems of Data Structures, Shor's Outline Series in Computers, McGraw-Hill Book Company. Yashwant Kanitkar, Data Structures through C++, BPB Publications. We will come back with another session. Until then, goodbye, take care.